Hey, it's my aircraft! Hello friends, we're on approach to Nice Côte d'Azur, France. It's an RMP approach to runway 22 left designed to keep arriving aircraft from overflying the rich folks living on this precious piece of a coastline right here. Which is exactly what makes it interesting. There's nothing complicated really, you just gotta follow this track laterally and vertically, and then proceed visually with a somewhat tight turn to final. The reason why I chose to demo this approach is because I used to fly it many times in my previous life and it was always a lot of fun. Turn off automation early and try to be as precise as humanly possible. It's a great chance to practice your hand flying skills while taking glimpses at the gorgeous surrounding scenery. Alright, so autopilot, auto-throttles, flight directives are all off, as usual. Just past Bisbo, maintaining 3,000 feet, slowing down to 160 knots. Flaps are at 2. Once I pass Fox November 04 Alpha, I'll start my descent to 2,050 feet initially, which is my MDA. As you can see, it's clear on a million, so I'm planning to continue after passing the missed approach point. Captain is a pilot flying and first officer is a pilot monitoring. And the captain decides it's a good time for flaps 3. Speed checked, flaps 3. So this is how I'm going to manage my backup navigation. Once I pass Mike November 04 Alpha and commit to continue the approach, I'm going to have the first officer activate the secondary flight plan in the FMGC. The secondary flight plan has the preloaded ILS procedure port 04 left. This will also load the localizer frequency in the box. Localizer and glide slope will assist me in my turn to final, just to make sure I don't turn too late or deviate too high or low in the visual glide path. Now in real life, evaluating your height in relation to the runway is much easier than in a sim. You're really missing that third dimension in the PC simulator. An experienced Airbus driver will notice that I don't have the LS button selected yet. It's because selecting it at this point will remove the green VDEF indication that I'm using loosely as a reference in my descent. And as far as lateral precision goes, as long as I don't allow the green brick to go left or right outside of the scale, I'm perfectly in good shape. This scale represents 0.2 miles of lateral deviation. Alright, first officer, please activate the secondary flight plan. Yes, Captain. Here you go. Gear down. Gear is coming down. Ground spoil is armed. Nose gear lights on. And flight attendants advised. Now ideally I should have actually sequenced that secondary flight plan, but since I don't really have the first officer, I didn't want to spend too much time head down. Alright, now I turn on the LS button and switch the EFIS display mode to LS. That's just my preference. So this is my patented technique when I intercept the localizer using raw data only. I'm focusing on the top of the course deviation indicator, or CDI. It's this magenta needle right here. And also the green diamond that represents the aircraft current track over the ground. So it's corrected for the wind. Oh yeah, flaps full, thank you. Landing checklist. Cabin secured for landing, auto thrust off, go around altitude, 3,000 feet set, ECAM memo, landing no blue. Landing check is complete, speed manage please, and runway track. Thank you. So yeah, where was I? So once the CDI starts moving, as you'll see in a few seconds, I'll start the right turn and I will attempt to follow that top of the needle with my green diamond. If I do it right, once the CDI needle is centered, I should be right on the localizer track with the wings level. And here we go, close enough for the visual approach, right on track, right on path, stabilized. So I'm still in an instrument procedure, but I've left my missed approach point way behind me. So what do I do if I have to go around? Now here in Nice it's a special case. They want aircraft unable to land off of this visual segment to fly straight out on the runway heading until hitting 5 miles off of the CGS VOR and then turn right heading 110 with a speed limit of 220 knots. So this is why I have the CGS VOR displayed right here for me. And something tells me we just might need that. It looks like there's a guy landing just ahead of us, a turboprop or something. Yeah, it's a turboprop. Looks like an ATR. Yeah, it's ATR 42. He's just touched down. There's no way he's going to be able to vacate before we get there. So just in case, a quick recap of go-around actions. My calls are go-around flaps. I firewall the thrust levers. You move flaps to position 3. You call positive rate, I call gear up. You raise the gear and check thrust. I read out the FMA. Sounds good? Yeah, he's taking his sweet time. Nope. Not gonna happen. Alright, let's go around. Go around flaps. Toga set flaps 3. Positive rate. Gear up, please. Man Toga SRS GA track. As briefed, I'm gonna fly runway track until 5 miles CGS VOR. Here's acceleration at thrust reduction altitude. Alt star. Pitch down for 10 degrees, then reduce thrust to climb. A common mistake people make when flying Airbus is reducing thrust to climb before pitching down. This can result in a low speed situation which no one wants. Flaps 1. Always make sure there's a positive speed trend before calling for flaps retraction. Alright, another 1,000 feet to go. Coming up and 5 miles off of the CGS VOR. Standing by for the turn. A little Airbus trivia. This horn that you just heard is the altitude alert. It indicates 750 feet to go till the assigned altitude. It's only heard when the autopilot is off. Alright, here we go, 5 miles, and the first officer is attempting to dial heading 110. He'll get there eventually. I, however, don't need to wait for him and I'm starting my turn. Flap 0. Speed checked, flap 0. After takeoff procedure, ground spoilers disarmed. Nose gear lights off. After takeoff checklist, landing gear up, flaps retracted, packs on. After takeoff checklist complete. Let's try it again. Alright, we're back with you inside 1,000 feet. Thank you, first officer, for dialing the runway track. Fully configured and stable. Landing checklist, please. Landing checklist, cabin, secured for landing, auto thrust, off. Go around altitude, 3,000 feet set. ECAM memo, landing, no blue. Landing checklist complete, I'm cleared to land. First officer is scanning for traffic and looking for birds. At least I hope so. I suspect he might just be enjoying the scenery. 500 on speed, sync 7, still stable, still clear to land. Runway appears to be wide open. They're all counting on me now. Definitely gonna be calling the tower about that ATR that landed ahead of us. I don't think they had a clearance. Or maybe we didn't have a clearance. Let's put it this way. One of us didn't have a clearance. Cross the threshold just above 50, not too bad. Thrust levels to idle at 20 feet, start looking at the end of the runway. Flare, touchdown, deploy thrust reversers, gently lower the nose. Waiting for the first officer's callouts. Waiting for the first officer's callouts. Oh yeah, spoilers, reversers green, decel. 70 knots. Thrust reversers stowed, and we cheated death once again. So as I said, nothing terribly complicated, but an invigorating little approach nonetheless. A good one to practice your hand flying for sure. Might I also suggest to try a visual approach to the opposite runway, to left or right. That one has a nice and tight turn to final as well. So thanks for joining me. Feel free to like and subscribe as you deplane, and see you next time. Fly safe.